Hello, welcome to another episode of Black Guy 73. I am Black Guy 73. Well, the governor for New York, Andrew Cuomo, he said they're trying to go back to school this fall. He said with the with the numbers going down, that he realized that the students need to go back to school. No, and he also said it would help the economics in New York, not New York City, but New York, the whole state, saying it would help out because there's a lot of parents staying home. Oh, had to check the audio again. But it says a lot of parents staying home because of well, they can stay home and keep their children. So Cromos kind of sound like what President Trump was saying, and a lot of other governors were saying these children need to go back to school for their parents can go back to work. It's in the article. He quoted it. I'm gonna read some of this article for you don't think I'm making it crap up. But he said, in order to get this economy back on schedule, these children need to go back to school for the parents can go back to work. He said one of the reasons he made this decision, cause since the numbers have gone down in New York, the New York State, that it's only fair that the children go back to school this fall. It says, you know, some school systems in the New York area is talking about they go to class for a couple of days and they do like online virtual classes and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, President Trump told y'all, said, I'm gonna have a talk with the governor of New York and we're gonna get this thing straight. A few weeks later, now it's okay for New York students, children to go back to college, go back to high school. And he just talking about, I know some people are like, oh, you talking about high school? No, he's talking about college too. He said, these young adults need to go back. They realize how much money they will lose this year if the children don't go back to school. Not just in New York, but all over the United States. They federal grants get canceled. What? Why see y'all federal grants when the children not in school? Money for gas is canceled. The educational secretary and President Trump said earlier, in July, that if these children don't go back to school, we're gonna withhold funding. But the old saying I heard when I was growing up: money talk and bullish walk. So I'm guessing these governor is letting that money talk for them now. Cause just 2 months ago, there was so-called talking about how people were dying so fast in New York that they had to put out refrigerated trucks to put the bodies in, and the hospital was so overwhelmed. They had to bring in nurses and doctors from out of states to help the darn nurses and doctors within New York. They said it was so overwhelmed. So you're gonna tell me in 1 month, it's okay to get things back in order? Y'all think I'm playing? I'm gonna read this article when the man said they help the economy go back when the children go back. The children go back to school, parents go back to work. They criticize Republicans. We keep telling y'all, Republicans and the Democrats are the same. The political people who hold the political office, it's the same. It's no different. They make it seem like it's different, but it ain't no different. Every governor in the United States got a open line to the president. Every governor. They portray like they arch enemies when it comes to this political thing. Like, oh yeah, the Democrats, they holding the budget. The Republicans won't sign into law. They act like they arch enemies, but behind doors, they sipping on brandies and all that kind of stuff. Hey, well, you see how we made them mad today? Yeah. And the news outlet, they part of the darn BS too. They get a memo, say, hey, this is what y'all need to talk about. I mean, this is what y'all gonna talk about. And the producers get passed down to the darn talking heads that be on the TV, and that's what they talk about. To keep the United States people ignorant about what's going on in real time. Every once in a while, they might release something like, hey, like, this is what y'all need to know. But the rest of the time when they release something, they're just trying to scare you so they can get reelected. That's it. So Promos, after having the talk with President Trump, he have changed his mind about New York students. Because he want that darn federal fund. They all want that federal fund. You think them people will let all these millions slip through their states just because they're going to let them slip through their state thinking they care about these darn children? No. It was on the news this morning. Keisha Bottom, the mayor from Atlanta, she like, yeah, the school gonna open, but my children not going. She said, my children are not going. She said, it's bad to say it, but my children are not going to their schools. She bumped that. Because she know it. She know it's not safe for her. Georgia is one of the hard-hitting states right now. It's not compared to Florida and Arizona and Texas and stuff, but Georgia in that darn top 10 of states. And Keisha's like, my children are not going back to school. She the mayor of Atlanta, but she can't do nothing about it. She can't stop the children from going to school. The other students within the city, she can't stop them. Because it's up to the governor, Brian Dunn Kemp. But we ain't going to talk about Brian Kemp anymore. We're going to talk about Cuomo and the stand he took. Now, the stand he's taking. The millions of dollars makes you like, no, dog. I understand what you're saying, President. No children going back to school this fall. Secretary, don't take away our money. They're going back to school. We don't care. I'm going to read you some of this article. It said the New York governor said Friday that he will allow children statewide to return to the classroom for the start of the new school year, citing the state's success in the battle of the coronavirus pandemic. Okay, the state might have less people dying but we're still in a pandemic. Who, the World Health Organization, they ain't said the pandemic will over, but these states are so money hungry, they are allowing children to go back to school. They said the announcement by the Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo cleared the way for schools to offer at least some days in person class alongside remote learning. He quote, everywhere in the state, every region is below the threshold that it established. Cuomo said during a conference call with reporters. He quote, if there is a spike in the infection rate, if there are a matter of concern in the infection rate, then we can revisit. But the thing is, people, a person, the thing is though, these government buildings are still closed. You still can't go inside these government buildings. I went to the health department to get my daughter shot records. I had to go first. There was a person met me in the parking lot. I had to call in. So tell them, let them know that I need my daughter's shot record. They said, I'll call you when you can come up. So I went in the parking lot. The lady met me in the parking lot, said, hey, why you here? I told them why. They said, all right, drive around. You know, you had to be earthshook. They said, drive around, go into this building. You're going to walk in the building. The lady checked my temperature, asked me some questions. Then she directed me to go to that window. The woman asked me, say, did you call in? What's your child name? I told them my child name, told them I called in. They got the paper, and they said, head on out the door. Before the pandemic, you just walk up in the health department and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. You know, go to the place that you're looking, you know, the area that you're looking for, and you just go there. Now you got to make an appointment. And y'all saying is the children go back to school. I went to this other government building today about, you know, changing my tag because I moved out of state. I had to speak to the people outside through a window. School has started in these states, but we still got to speak to these people who work in government buildings outside through a window. Same thing when I go pay my water bill. You can't go in that building. You got to go through that drive-through. Same thing for my sewage. Had to go through the drive-through. And they're talking about it's safe for the children. But they're taking all these precautions for you to go pay your bills and talk to the people that you need to talk to. But they're taking all these precautions. But they're saying it's okay for the children to go back to school. Make that make sense. Make it make sense, people. It don't make sense because it's bogus. You're going to tell me that these children, my child included, they can go back to school, but we can't walk into a government building? Come on, people. These people don't give a damn about our children. Like that governor said, he just want this economy just go ahead and get back on track. They said many New York school districts have planned to start the year with students in school buildings only a few days a week, while learning at home the rest of the time. They said the largest school districts in the United States, New York City, more than 1 million public school students had their last day in class instruction on March 13th, just as the wave of sick people were beginning to hit the city hospital. They said all schools statewide was closed by March the 18th. The city mayor, Bill de Blasio, I think it's Bill de Blasio, has been saying since the spring that his goal for fall was to bring students back on schedule with the much classroom time as possible while still allowing social distancing. They said that plan was ambitious as other large school systems have backed away from the in-person instruction in recent weeks. There's like Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami, and Houston, among other places, all announced that they would start the school year with students learning remotely. De Blasio, that's his name, while cautious that he could change courses at any time, has expressed hope that the low rates of transmission of the virus in the city will allow students and staff to return safely. He also said a return to the classroom discretion is like needed to jumpstart the city economics. Always go to the money, don't it? Always go to the money. They said parents being forced to stay home with their children. They said school reopen plan, face enormous hurdles. They said the outbreak, while reduced, is not over in New York. It's around 10,000 New York City residents tested positive for the virus in July. 10,000 people tested positive in July. But it's okay for the children to go back to school. This on Wednesday, two unions, the New York State Union Teachers and the Union Federation of Teachers, demand clearer health protocol at schools should shut down immediately for 2 weeks if any students or members of the staff contract the virus. See, that's one of the best things about New York. In places like New York, they have teacher unions who will stand up and say, hey, no, our people are not going to work in a situation where if the virus starts spreading through the school. But people like in Georgia, places like in Georgia, don't have the teacher union. They had to rely on the governor to make a decision like that. And the governor don't care. They said teachers are prohibited for striking in New York, but it has been unclear whether the large numbers would either opt out of classroom instruction for medical reasons or simply refuse to work. That's what I was saying earlier. Like teachers, they can't miss the day out of school or strike, but they can call out sick. And you have thousands of teachers calling out sick at one time, that will cause some negotiation with some of the hires up. They said parents too have struggled to decide whether to send their children to school or opt solely for online instruction at home. They said school has spent the summer coming up with safety plans. They said they spent school with safety plans, but at the same time, you've seen in Georgia when the story I just did about how crowded the high school hallways was and all that kind of stuff, and the young lady got suspended for showing people. They said figuring out it fit fewer students in classrooms and school buses. But another thing, how can you fit students in smaller classrooms unless you just allow a certain amount of students to come to school one day and the other students, unless they are built on and doing more parts of the school. New York government requires all school systems to submit plans detailing their reopening plans, saying that the state will not allow any district with any unsafe plans to bring students back to classroom. The state health commissioner Howard Zucker warned that this week that all ill-prepared reopening could put students, staff, and parents in danger. They said earlier this summer, Chromos set a general metric to help measure when it was safe to bring students back, saying that state would allow returning to regions where fewer than 5% of people tested for coronavirus or COVID-19 came back positive. They said the entire state has been well under the threshold all summer. But Chromos had also recently stressed that even if he allows schools to reopen, it wouldn't work if parents and teachers are sure, but are not sure they are safe. The thing is, people, I said in the last video, and I said it earlier in this video, that the reopening, people, when they want the place to be reopened to get their federal grants to come in. It's all about money, people. President Trump was a line when he said earlier this summer that if y'all don't open up these schools or get some kind of class going, you know, y'all don't need no federal grants. We're not gonna issue it out. They said, what you need a federal grant for when the students is not in the classroom? Not in the classroom. Like the school my daughter about to start in, they're gonna have the first 8 weeks, they're gonna be doing virtual learning. And after that, we don't know. You don't know it's gonna be virtual learning. It is. I think so too. Cause me and my daughter and I were talking, and it was up to us. She'll do virtual learning the whole school year. I know I don't have no, like crazy underlying conditions. And my daughter, she healthy, but at the same time, they can bring that mess home. They can bring it home for other students. Come, we all know how it is. These children go to school for 1 week, and someone come back with doing cold. So you got some students in there coughing and don't even cover their mouth. Germs, and they get spread it all over school, man. Especially with these doing elementary students. You know, no children let that darn sneeze go anywhere. Elementary school, it just let it go and have mucus dripping all over the place. Now, when that happen, now the teachers, assistants, they're gonna have to treat these darn children like they are nuclear waste. They're gonna have to put gloves on, and definitely they're gonna take the precaution about wearing the mask. And the masks I don't care. The masks are uncomfortable. I know the job I work in, they want you to wear a mask all the time. They want something to be around your mouth and your nose at all times. Man, that junk is so uncomfortable. I know some of these places. I work in one of them jobs that you on your feet during the 3 hours out of the day. I mean, not you on your feet 3 hours for every break. Like we be to work for 12 hours. You work 3 hours, 20-minute break. Work 3 hours, 30-minute lunch break. Work 3 hours, 15-minute breaks. And then if it go over, you might take another break around about 5:30. So imagine you moving around, you working, doing all that junk. You getting sweaty, and then you got the mask on your face, like, it's hard to breathe with that. It's hard for me to breathe with that mask on my face. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I don't know, it's because I got a big face or something. It's hard for me to breathe. It's like that mask, soon I put it on, it's like, it just come down on my nose. I be like, I had to put that mask down. I don't know. It's gonna be rough out here, man. I feel sorry for the teachers. I feel sorry for the students, the staff. I feel sorry for them. Cause I know when they told this as their career, they ain't know a pandemic about to take over. They ain't know a pandemic gonna happen and stuff like this. They ain't know how vulnerable they gonna be and what kind of situation what they can take back to their family. They ain't know. This essential worker thing. They keep on saying essential worker. Like, people need to get a bonus every freaking month. Their job is so darn important. They should get a bonus every month. I ain't saying no promotion. They should get a bonus, and not doing $200, $300. If the essential workers so darn important, they need to pay them like they're important. But you know they ain't gonna happen. That grant, that federal grant that these governors so concerned about, ain't gonna go toward the teachers like that. Teacher might get a 1.5% raise, might. Like, come on. They need a raise larger than this to deal with a pandemic. Because we know all these parents ain't clean, not clean at all. And they ain't teaching their children a clean practice. So these darn teachers, the staff, the governor, they can make that decision because the governor, they ain't come to the schoolhouse. Shit, the mayor ain't coming to the schoolhouse. All the people who making the decision is not coming to the schoolhouse. They don't have to be involved in none of this stuff. They just make the decision like, well, look at the plan I put out. It's up to the school and the superintendent to make it work. What kind of stuff is that? Trying to do my best not to be cursing all the time on her. What kind of stuff is that though? It's up to the school and the superintendent to make it work. That's crazy right there. Hey, if you got some children going to school like I do, I don't care. Y'all don't pray. Whoever y'all look up to in y'all spiritual realm, hey, they ask them to guide our children and protect them and protect the teachers and the staff members. Hey, thank you for watching the video. In New York, y'all governor just showed y'all money becoming before the students. Just like other governors, like the Republican governors, are, like, nah. Hey, y'all New York governor just the same way. Ain't nothing changed but the D and the R. That's it. Everybody else, they still the same. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all have a good day. Hope y'all have a good weekend. I hope I can come back on. I'm off this weekend. It's my first weekend all since, God done. My first weekend all since May. I think it was May. Yeah, it's my first week. This is my first weekend all since May. So hopefully I can come back on Saturday. I hope y'all have a great day. Y'all be safe. Enjoy y'all weekend. Drink y'all water, man. I know y'all be like, this man crazy. Why you keep on saying drink some water? Drink your water, man. You don't have to worry about no heat wave if you drink that amount of water that you're supposed to drink. And your skin gonna be nice and pretty like mine. Yeah, look at my skin. But for real, drink that water, man. Drink it. I be fussing at my daughter down there every day. And they're like, how you drinking no water? How you drunk water? I know she tired of hearing it. But it's my job. It's my job to make sure she drink that water. Pleasure. She want to have smooth skin like her daddy. Y'all take care. If you make it to this far on the video and you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, hit the share button, and hit the like button. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Good Lord willing.